There we go. What's up, everybody? Hope everybody is doing okay. 1 second. I've got a brand new chair. Frank sent me a new chair because he said that can't see. He said can't have you on the payroll ultra in a gaming chair like this with no footstool. So Frank's bought me a brand new gaming chair, but this one's got a footstool on it as well. It's got a built-in footstool, so I can actually put my feet up while I do these episodes and be in even more luxury comfort than I already am. So, like I said before, it pays to be on the Queensbury payroll. Let's just shut the door. Let me shut the door. 1 sec. It's fucking boiling in there. If I turn the fan on, can you guys hear the? If I turn the fan on in the back, can you guys hear the fan? 1 sec. Let's do a test on the fan. Press 1 if you can hear this. That's pretty bad, isn't it? How bad is that? How bad is that out of 10? Let me know. Because it's fucking hot in here, man. Jesus fucking Christ, man. It's fucking bad. Can you guys hear me over the fan or not? If not, I'll turn the fan off. Right. Is it okay? Yeah. All right. It's okay. Chris is saying it's all right. So let me sit down. You guys are giving me scores out of 10. What? You can barely hear the fan. Okay, not bad. You can't hear it. Okay, cool. Yeah. People assume because you got brown skin that you love the heat, but you don't. Do you know how fucking racist people are when you go outside? Fucking racist. You know, you walk outside and people start making chat about the weather and they think, oh, you must love this weather. It's hot. What are you trying to say? What, because I'm a black dude, that means I must like the heat. Mate, I was born in the UK. Do you understand that? I was born in the UK, mate. Born in the UK. I was born and bred here, mate. Obviously, I'm West Indies through and through, but fuck me, I was born in the UK. But they assume because you got brown skin that you must love oh, you must love this weather. What are you trying to say? What are you trying to say? Next minute, they'll be offering me a KFC gift card or some shit. They'll be offering me a KFC gift card, man. Low-key racism, innit? Right. Shall we get going then? If the fan gets too much, let me know. Because I can really hear it. But if you can hear me over the fan, that's cool. If the fan gets too much, let me know and I'll turn it off. Today's episode is sponsored by Marks and Spencer's. Very, very interesting cola. This is a must get. It's actually sparkling water, but flavored like cola. So you get all the taste of a vanilla Coke, but with like 1/3 of the calories. It is absolutely incredible. Palmo Parade says, would you turn down a KFC gift card? Absolutely, I would, yeah. I'm a conservative. I'm a Tory. We don't do charity down here. Fucking Tory, mate. Fucking Tory. You got to make your own way, mate. Can't be accepting gift cards from people. Can't be accepting gift cards from people, mate. You live like Ian Duncan Smith down here. Right. Shall we start with, speaking of brothers... These fucking, oh my God. Let's start with this absolute shit. Oh my gosh. David Adeleye and his fresh cane row. David Adeleye is a bad man, yeah? But David Adeleye must have got fresh cane row. All of a sudden, he acting like he Tupac. What is going on? Would I say to David Adeleye face? No, because David Adeleye is a killer out in these streets. But let's be honest. You can't tell me the timing of David Adeleye haircut and his behavior, yeah, in this Wardley brawl, yeah. You can't tell me it's a coincidence, innit? You can't tell me 1 minute, yeah, David Adeleye out here with his fresh cane row, yeah, 1 minute. And then it's a coincidence that the next minute David Adeleye going out here acting wild. Craziness, man. I think, yeah, like I said before, I think David Adeleye, I don't know how to say this. Let me say it this way, right? This was such a bad look for brothers. Can I just say that? Like, this was such a bad look for brothers. Do you know what I mean? Like, it was such a bad look for brothers because you had 2 brothers and a brother in between, yeah? And 2 out of 3 are acting like fools. So let me start off with this dude, Radio Raheem. Do you remember the whole Deontay Wilder thing with Radio Raheem? When Radio Raheem got butchered by the LDBC. They were basically calling him all kinds of names, weren't they? Do you remember that? when Deontay Wilder did the Till This Day interview with Radio Rahim. Germany people were slagging off Radio Rahim in it for being a you-know-what, yeah? I stuck up for Radio Rahim at the time, and I still do to this day. But you know what? I have to say, and I have to be honest with you, I think Radio Rahim's conduct, yeah, in this whole Wardley Adeleye thing is atrocious. That's my honest opinion, yeah? It's atrocious because physically, obviously, he cannot stop a fight between Wardley and Adeleye, yeah? But there's something called diffusion, and you guys know about this. You can diffuse things, man. And you know what? For me, and I want you guys to press 7 if you think I'm right and press 8 if you think I'm wrong. And I know quite a few people think I'm wrong, yeah? But I'm going to be honest with you. I think Radio Rahim's conduct during that interview is a fucking disgrace, to be honest with you. He's in the middle of an interview with Fabio Wardley. So Fabio Wardley's come to him to give an interview. Fabio Wardley hasn't come to engage in a brawl, right? David Adeleye walks over mid-interview and starts cursing out at Fabio Wardley and starts getting aggressive, yeah? Now, in my opinion, and I'm telling you for a fact, I would have done this, yeah? I'm telling you for a fact, I would have done this. I would have said to David Adeleye in the most respectful way, I'm telling you, so I'm muting myself. I'm telling you, yeah, I would have said, brother, just wait until the fight. Let me do this interview. That's all I would have said. I would have said, brother, no disrespect, just let me finish this interview. You guys are going to see each other in Saudi Arabia. Have a good fight, champ. There's ways to diffuse that, or to try to diffuse that situation, yeah? In my opinion, Adeleye would flatten me. Well, anyone would flatten me, yeah? So I wouldn't try and get aggressive, but I would just say, brother, I'm just doing an interview. Let's do this afterwards. Save it till fight night. There's ways to do this. There's ways to try and calm the situation down. What I actually would have done as well, to be honest, is told Fabio, come, let's go over here and finish the interview. But you see what Rahim did, if you go and watch it back, I can't play the video because it's copyrighted and people are getting done on Twitter. Even posting it on Twitter, people are getting the videos disabled on Twitter, yeah? If you watch what Radio Rahim does, yeah? Carefully. If you watch what Radio Rahim does, he sees David Adeleye getting aggressive and coming towards Fabio Wardley. And then what he does, he then backs out. If you just go watch the video, he then backs out to let Adeleye in. And then he then puts the camera, he puts the microphone towards Adeleye. And if you watch Rahim, he then nods at his cameraman. You see him, he does a nod and a grin at his cameraman to say, make sure you get this. Make sure you get this. Make sure you get this. Make sure. So he had the presence of mind. If you just watch it, if you don't believe me, just go and watch it back. Go and watch it back on Seconds Out. You'll see Radio Rahim. He steps back to allow Adeleye in. He moves the microphone towards Adeleye to try and capture what he's saying. And then he literally nods at the cameraman to say, oi, get in, get this, get this. You know why? Because he was hoping for something to kick off so he could put it on a little shitty boxing channel. I'm just going to be honest with you and tell you how it is. He couldn't wait for two brothers to make themselves look like idiots so he could collect something for his little shitty YouTube channel. That's my belief. I'm very confident in that belief. I like Rahim. I've stuck up for Rahim so many times on this channel. I've stuck up for Rahim so many times, man. When the LDBC were calling him the C word, and you know what that word is in the black community. When the LDBC were calling him the C word, I said, no, he's not. And I like Rahim. And I said this online, and people tried to misrepresent what I said about the situation. Or Ultra, you can't expect Radio Rahim to stop two heavyweights fighting each other. I said, I never said I expect Rahim to stop them fighting. What I don't expect him to do is to back off to let Adeleye in, try and get a microphone on him, and then nod to the cameraman to get this in. You're that desperate for views. You're that desperate. And if you look at it now, I know I'm right about this because the fight is on the verge of now being called off. Isn't it? Well, not off, but the fight is on the verge of being off for Saudi Arabia because Wardley got cut. And because Wardley got cut, there ain't going to be no fight in Saudi Arabia. Most likely, we'll wait and see. There is going to be a fight, 100%. And Wardley's confirmed as much on social media. They are going to fight, but they're not going to get to fight on Saudi Arabia. Now, I've seen so many times when fighters have got face-to-face and fighters have got in beef. We've all seen it. Come on, let's not lie, innit? How many times have we seen fighters backstage at fights and they're about to start arguing that they're getting in beef and a situation's about to occur? How many times have we seen people say, leave it, leave it, leave it? Press one if you agree with me, press two if you disagree with me. How many times have we seen two fighters backstage or two fighters at an event and they're squaring up or they're saying dumb shit and somebody's saying, leave it, leave it, leave it, do it get paid for it? How many times have you heard people say, do it and get paid? Do it and get paid. Leave it till fight night. Do it and get paid. Get paid to do it. If you're going to do it, get paid to do it. I've seen it loads of times. Nobody's asking anybody to jump in and start throwing punches or act like the bodyguard. But there are ways to diffuse things. So we'll have to wait and see if Adeley's cost himself a payday here. Because of his actions at the minute, the last thing I heard, and I don't have any special information, but the last time I saw any rumors on Twitter, this fight can't take place in Saudi Arabia on that date because of Wardley's cut. I could be wrong. Last thing we all heard is that Wardley's gone to see a plastic surgeon. So how stupid is Adeleye? Because of his actions, yeah? A fight that could have been on the undercard of Fury versus Ngannou on pay-per-view on one of the biggest platforms of boxing this year, because of his actions, yeah, could now end up on a BT Sport 1 card somewhere in the middle of the fucking Telford Leisure Centre somewhere in fucking 2023. Do you see what I'm saying? It's stupid. You've cost yourself possibly money, and you've possibly cost yourself certainly eyes on the product if this fight doesn't go ahead. So who won from this situation? Wardley and Adeleye. Because if this fight doesn't take place in Saudi Arabia, David Adeleye hasn't won. All he's done is make sure that the fight's going to be rescheduled, yeah? And watched by probably far fewer people. Fabio Wardley hasn't won because he's been cut. Who's won? The only person that's winning is fucking Raheem, innit? The only person that's winning is the fucking media. But this is what I keep telling you about this media, man. This boxing media, man. Can I just tell you the truth? I know people don't want to hear this, but I'm just going to be honest with you, yeah? And this isn't to radio Raheem personally, because I like Raheem, but I'm just going to be honest with you. Boxing media. And you let me know if you agree with me on this or you disagree. But do you not think there is something mentally wrong with somebody, with a grown man, who doesn't want to go out and do a fucking full-time job like everybody else and thinks that it's acceptable to run around with a fucking camera in your hand, sniffing people's asses at boxing gyms and sniffing people's asses at media events because you're trying to make a name for yourself? No, I'm just being honest and real about this, about my feelings about it. Like, do you agree with me on that? Because I think those kind of people are sus, to be honest with you. I know I make a lot of fun, yeah, about Tesco's and shelf stacking and stuff like that, yeah? But you know what? There's more honor in stacking shelves at Tesco. There's more honor in being a fucking toilet cleaner than there is in being a fucking full-time YouTube boxing player. I don't care what anybody says. To me, at least the toilet cleaner is doing a hard day's work and an honest day's work. Am I right or am I wrong? Rather than turning up to a media event, you're so desperate for clicks, but you're so desperate for clicks and so desperate for views. You've got a potential situation acting up. You all saw what happened, yeah? You all saw what happened with Adeleye had half a team. Adeleye had half a team that Wardley wasn't even aware about. And next minute, that whole team was jumping in and throwing elbows at people and all this kind of stuff. You don't know what that situation could have turned into. That could have turned into a mass brawl. Am I right? Press one if you agree with me or two if you disagree. That could have turned into a mass brawl. That could have, other people could have got hurt. Could have just been Wardley. Luckily, Wardley was the only one who got hurt, but who knows what could have happened? That could have turned into a mass brawl. Things could have started getting thrown. Anything could have start happening. Tables could have start going all over the place. People could start falling over each other. All kinds of stuff could happen. Is it all Raheem's fault? No. But I'm just saying, that's my opinion. He had an opportunity there to attempt to defuse the situation. David, let me just finish this interview with Fabio quickly, and then you lot can say your piece. Let me just finish this interview with Fabio very, very quickly, and then you can say your piece. David, leave it till fight night. Bro, do it and get paid, brother. Or, Fabio, come. Let's come over here and finish the interview. You don't need this. Let's come over here and finish the interview. We don't need to do this right now. Nah, none of that. The man stepped back and allowed Adeleye to get in close and had the presence of mind to tell his cameraman, make sure you get this on camera. You see that little nod? Make sure you get that on camera. I'm just going to tell you how it is. I am very, very suspicious of anybody who does that for a living. I'm just going to be honest with you. To me, like I said before, I prefer people who do an honest day's work. To me, to be honest with you, I think drug dealers doing more honest day's work than some of these YouTube boxing reporters. That's just my opinion. I know who you are, Michael Thompson. I've just worked out who you are. You're Guitar Mikey. I've just worked out who you are because you ring a bell. Let me read out your comment. Feels like most reporters are mainly doing it to be famous. Then, of course, Michael. That's what they're doing it for. They don't give a shit about boxing. Do you guys agree with what I'm saying here? That a lot of these boxing reporters are trying to make themselves the show. Kugan Cassius is the master of doing it. Am I not lying? And now Charlie Parsons is trying to do the same thing. These guys trying to make themselves the center of attention. These guys trying to make themselves the center of attention. Am I lying? Am I not lying? If I'm lying, tell me. They're trying to make themselves the center of attention, isn't it? It's all a big ego trip for them. But they don't make any money out of it. They don't make any money out of it. It's a fool's errand. Earn a proper day's living. I work in IT for a living. Shevin works in marketing for a living. That's what we do for a living. George C. works as a fucking... Yeah, I think this guy makes serious money. What is this guy? I think this guy's a fucking petroleum engineer. That's what he is. He's a petroleum engineer. Richard works with AI and data modeling, earning serious money. Go and do something for a living, man. Don't end up being one of these clowns, man. You're so desperate for views on your little shitty YouTube channel that you got. Anyway, look, let me not carry on. So I'm not happy with it. I think Adeleye ended up looking like an idiot. To be honest with you, I think Adeleye ended up looking like an idiot. And for me, like I said before, do you know what? And I could be wrong about this. It just reinforces so many stereotypes about people who have the same skin color as me. It just reinforces so many stereotypes that you get three brothers in the same room at the same time and can't behave. Can't behave for 5 minutes, man. Three brothers in the room at the same time and you can't behave yourself for 5 minutes without turning that into a mass brawl. Can't behave for 5 minutes. I'm just being real. Makes us look terrible. You can't behave for 2 minutes. Security get caught slacking for 2 minutes where you can't behave yourselves. You can't behave yourselves. Come on, man. Let me speak about the fight itself. I don't think David Adeleye is going to beat Fabio Wardley. Let me get to the point. Listen, I like David Adeleye. I've always had time for David Adeleye. I don't like the actions that he took. I think his actions were fucking stupid. I think cutting a fighter before a fight is stupid. And I think Adelaye's bang out of order for what he did. I've always liked Adeleye as a person. I like David Adeleye. Is he going to beat Fabio Wardley in a boxing match? No. In my opinion, he's going to get knocked out. And I could be completely wrong about that. But in my opinion, Fabio Wardley's going to knock him out. What do you guys think about that? I'll be honest with you. Like I said before, you know my opinions on this kind of thing, right? Adeleye is a very, very confident individual, yeah? We know this. But for me, when I consider supreme confidence, for me, supreme confidence is silencing yourself. So, you know. Press 7 if I'm right, and press 8 if I'm wrong. Supreme confidence. Think about the times in your life where you truly, truly felt confident in yourself. Have you felt the need to go up to a man and start trying to shove him around and act like, what? Just asking you, mate. Listen, we're all different. People get their confidence from different sources and people display confidence in different ways. But I'm just being honest with you. Think about all the times in your life where you were confident, where you were really confident about, it doesn't have to be a fight, just about anything, a driving test, an exam, a date with a girl. Think about all the times in your life where you went to do something and you just knew, like, I'm on tonight. Like, do you know what I mean? You just know. You never had those times in your life where you just know, like, I'm flying in it. You never had those times where you're like, I'm on tonight. Tonight, I'm flying. Did you ever feel the need to go out and tell everybody that you were flying and to walk up? Nah, you just knew in it. I believe, I could be completely wrong. I honestly believe that fighting can be very similar. I find the actions of Adeleye very, very suspicious. Why'd you feel the need? You're going to knock him out. You're going to do this. You're going to do that. So why'd you feel the need to act in that way? Why'd you feel the need to walk up to him like that and to be aggressive? Why do you want to need to do all those kind of things? I think he's up against it. That's my opinion. I think he's up against it. And I think he feels the need to try and get one up. I could be completely wrong. If I see David Adeleye down Ladbroke Grove, I'll probably get a slap in the face and he'll probably tell me I'm full of shit. But that's my honest belief. I believe that he did that because he felt he needed to get one up on Fabio Wardley. To me, that's not a good sign when you feel you need to do that. Because you know you're going to settle it in the ring, innit? You know you're going to settle it in the ring. What do you need to get one up before you're going to get in the ring? It's all signed and done for Saudi Arabia. All you got to do is wait 3 weeks, 4 weeks. Am I lying or am I not lying? Just got to wait 3 weeks, 4 weeks and then get in the ring and sort it out. Innit? All the talking's pointless. What's the point in talking? The fight's signed. There ain't no point in talking. Talking for what? Gonna get in the ring and find out, right? I don't know, man. It don't look good. We'll see, man. We'll see. I think the fight takes place. I don't know if it takes place in Saudi Arabia, but it's going to take place. And I think Wardley's going to win that fight by knockout. I have to be honest. I'd like to see Adeleye. I do like both of them. I would not mind if Adeleye win because I do like Adeleye and I do like Wardley as a person. But if you're asking me, I'm going to say I'm going to go with Wardley. Right, let me move on. Yeah, I know it was his power, but still, even so, the way Adeleye was acting, I wasn't a fan. I was not a fan of that. Let's move on. I'm sorry for rambling on about that. I'd have to give my opinion. But you know what? Like I said before, for me, Daryl hit the nail on the head. Lack of security at the event. Lack of security at the event. Oh, who Daryl said this? They stuck a mic in Wardley's face after he got elbowed with blood coming down his face, asking for a comment. Well, who did that, Daryl? Did Raheem do that? Can somebody confirm? Is that what Raheem did? Did Seconds Out stick a mic in Wardley's face after he got elbowed, asking for comment? Jesus fucking Christ. Did that happen? Listen, if I'm Fabio Wardley, I would never, ever do another interview with Raheem ever again. So I'm sorry. That's just my opinion. I wouldn't do it, man. I just think there's levels, in it. And I'm not saying, let me say this one more time. I'm not saying it's Raheem's job to physically stop the fight, but that's disgusting, man. That's disgusting, man. That's such disgusting behavior, man. Like I said before, innit? This boxing media, man, they would sell out anything and anybody for clicks. Do you get me? You know the truth, innit? We all know about ex-boxing reporters, high fight fans who are now on OnlyFans getting their baps out. Come on, we know what's going on. Am I lying? Am I not lying now? There's no money. There's no money in this boxing YouTube game. I've told you. Adeleye Depot's taking it all. There's no money in the box. I've told you, and I say it one more time. The one and only successful boxing YouTuber in the history of boxing YouTube, and the only one who will ever be anything more than some bum chatting crap out of his mum's basement is Adeleye Depot. He's the only one making coin. He is the only one, and he will be the only one who will ever make it. Do I agree with a lot of the things he says? No, I don't. But that's got nothing to do with the facts. Adeleye Depot is the Hulk Hogan of boxing YouTube. Yeah? That's the bottom line of it. He's the golden goose. He is the Hulk Hogan of boxing YouTube. And all these other dudes with these channels, yeah, hoping to make it big, turning up to interviews, putting their nose up Frank Smith bunghole. Deja honky tonk man. That's what they are. They're the honky tonk man. Ade is Hulk Hogan, and his next man is the honky tonk man. They might put the Intercontinental belt on you, but you're still going to have to job to Ultimate Warrior in 10 seconds. Just going to tell you the truth. You might win the Intercontinental belt one day, but you still have to job to Ultimate Warrior in 10 seconds. Those of you wrestling fans will know what I'm talking about. That's it. It's simple as that. That's all you got. All I got to tell you, man. I know there's some people out there that be hoping and wishing, and I keep saying it, like, they be hoping and wishing that they ain't going to have to go down to get a real job. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, Jason Walker knows. Jason Walker's got a real job. So Jason Walker knows what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about? These people. And they just be hoping and wishing, like, they be hoping and wishing, oh, do you know what? I don't want to go down to the job center today. Just one more interview. I just need one. I just need a few clicks. Just give me a few clicks. Just give me a brawl. Somebody failed a drugs test. I just need something. Anything to stop me having to go to the job center. And they're just avoiding the inevitable. Yeah? You are unemployable. All right? You need to understand that you are unemployable. Instead of talking about boxers' resumes, you need to brush up your own resume. Yeah? Stop chasing these fucking YouTube dreams. Yeah? Go out into the world of work. Yeah? Start washing the lettuce. Move up to fries. And then get onto the grill. Just like Mr. McDowell did in Coming to America. Did you guys not learn anything about the real moral of the story from Coming to America? Coming to America is all about hard work. That's what Coming to America is about, man. When you cut through the comedy, yeah? And the naked bathers. And some of the greatest soundtracks ever heard, yeah, in modern day cinema. Once you cut through all that, can't you understand? Film is all about hard work. Yeah, okay? Hard work. Stop trying to avoid a day's work, man. Anyway, all these dudes on YouTube, man, they're just trying to avoid a hard day's work, man. Trying to escape reality. But reality is going to come knocking, G. Reality is going to come knocking on your door like Dean White coming to knock on my door. Hello? Anyway, let's move on. Seriously, I'm done. Right, what's the next topic? So there's my topic on Wardley and Adeleye. Right, I butchered that, but it was what it was. I'm rusty. I haven't done a show for a while. Let's move on to something else. I just think there's a lot I want to say, but I can't say it because I'll get in trouble, innit? This is a PG show these days because we know what happened the last time we did some real shit. Right. Let's talk about Wilder. Wilder. When was the last time we talked about Wilder and AJ? It's been a while, isn't it? Oh, yeah, we could talk about thing. Hey, look about this, though. Anthony Joshua versus Deontay Wilder. Who actually believed that this shit was on? Who actually believed that this shit was actually on? Grown men believed that this fight was actually going to be signed. Grown men actually believed that this fight was going to take place in December of this year. Now, people keep biting my shit off the internet, and I'm cool with that, yeah? But you know what I did the other day? For those of you who follow me on Twitter. So I looked up, yeah, one of the earliest articles I could find, yeah, about Eddie Hearn, Deontay Wilder, and Anthony Joshua, right? And the furthest I could find, I've lost it now, but I will find it eventually. I found an article in 2015 from Boxing News with Eddie Hearn saying that Anthony Joshua would knock out Deontay Wilder. 2015. I'm trying to get it up on the screen. It does exist. I found it, and now that I'm looking for it, it's gone missing. But I will find it at some point. But this has been going on, yeah? This talk here about Anthony Joshua versus Deontay Wilder. Let me see if I can find it on my own Twitter page. Has been going on for close to 10 fucking years. Like 10 years. I'm not even joking. 10 fucking years. It's nearly 2024. They've been talking about this since at least 2015. 10 years of this shit. What's it going to take to make you guys realize that this fight, yeah, is highly, highly unlikely to happen? Certainly any time this year. I don't know how you guys feel about it. I just don't understand the people who continuously get taken into it. Jack Shaw says, thought Hearn said today it was all agreed. Nah, what Hearn's moved the dates again. So if you look now, I'll give you Hearn's new dates. Are you ready for this? If you look at the right-hand side of the screen, Eddie Hearn has stated that Anthony Joshua versus Deontay Wilder could still go ahead if the Saudi deal does not come to fruition, but maybe push back to March or April in Vegas or at Wembley. He said AJ might fight in December and Wilder's eyeing about in November. So we started in the summer. We started in the summer, and then we went from the summer to December. Now we're going from December to March or April. Now, genuine question, yeah? Genuine question. Do you remember a while ago, I said, and I could be wrong about all this, but I said, I think the real reason for quite a few of these holdups in the heavyweight division, yeah, is because people are actually waiting on Saudi money. Not because they're all scared of each other. I think these fights will happen. But I said, I think that a lot of these fighters, like you've got Andrew Ruiz asking for crazy money to fight Wilder. You've got Andrew Ruiz asking for 20 million to fight Tyson Fury. There's all kinds of people in a minute in boxing asking for crazy money. And I have said from the start that I think, yeah, that a lot of this is that fighters are hearing rumors. Sorry, I'm muting myself. Fighters are hearing rumors and whispers about the money in Saudi Arabia, and they're waiting for this money. That's what I think's been happening, right? I think that people have been going around behind the scenes and they've been talking big fucking numbers. And I think that what did he say, Michael? Hold on. Adam Catterall talked about the Saudi situation and it sounded believable. Can you summarize it? What did the cat say? I'm interested to know. But Fight Disciples reckon that Fury versus Usyk may be at the end of the Riyadh and then Wilder AJ after that. Listen, I have always said on this channel that Fury and Usyk will fight. I've been saying it from day one here. They'll fight. They won't fight when we want them to fight, but they will fight, in my opinion, as long as Fury comes through against Ngannou, right? As long as Fury comes through against Ngannou. But I do believe that Fury's next opponent is going to be Anthony Joshua. We'll talk about that in a second. That's what I believe. I believe that Usyk's going to fight Hrgovic. And I believe that Tyson Fury's opponent, if he beats Ngannou, will be Anthony Joshua or Zhilei Zhang, or the winner of Zhang and Joyce. One of those two, basically. So it's going to be the winner of Zhang and Joyce or Anthony Joshua. I've got a funny feeling, no inside information. I have a very, very, very strange feeling that it's going to be AJ, actually. But we'll talk about that in a second. Oh, right. Yeah, I've heard this before. Yeah. Adam says Frank is the big promoter in Saudi now instead of Hearn or co-promoter released. I have heard about this before. So I don't know much. I don't get any inside information. So you guys let me know if I'm wrong. George Warren, I'm going to say this once and one time, yeah? George Warren is like the Al Heyman of UK boxing in terms of George Warren is a guy who does pretty much no interviews. He's a guy who doesn't put himself out there very much at all. He's very much a guy in the background, but that guy is pulling the strings. George Warren is running Queensbury. Frank Warren is not running Queensbury. George Warren is running Queensbury. Frank Warren is the front man. Yeah, Frank Warren is the guy who's still involved on a regular basis. Frank Warren is the guy who's talking to the fighters. But the day-to-day running of Queensberry and the TV deals and what really makes it tick is been done by George Warren. George Warren's been running that behind the scenes for a very, very, very long time. And he's been doing some very, very good deals. And I heard a while ago that George Warren got in contact with some people from Saudi Arabia who would be able to facilitate fights. And there was rumors of that months and months and months ago, that Queensberry had been in contact with some Saudis and that the Saudis were going to start putting on some events involving Tyson Fury and such, and that they've got their own contacts out in the desert, not skills challenge, that Queensberry made their own contacts out there. So we'll have to see what's going on. But George Warren is definitely somebody to keep your eye on. A lot of people sort of pin things on Frank and sort of blame Frank and think Frank is a 70-year-old man. Day-to-day running of Queensberry Promotions is done by George Warren, as far as I'm aware. And he does a very, very good job. Keeps a very, very low profile. Frank's the front man. Frank's the guy on IFL TV who does the talking. Frank's the guy who does a lot of the talking and this and that. But the guy who's really doing the business it is what it is. Simon H says the new contact is the new contact is the Saudi Minister for Entertainment. So he handles the budget directly. Skills Challenge had to apply for money from that budget for events. Oh dear. Michael Fulton says, don't need Adam Carroll to tell you Frank Warren just signed with Turk Shea, Minister of Sport. You guys know more about it than me. I'm a bit out of the loop on this. There you go. Who are the other? Francis Warren. I don't think Francis, I think Francis is a manager. He's got his own set of fighters, isn't he? I don't know. I don't get any inside information, but the impression I get is that Francis Warren has his own management company. There's certain fighters, obviously Queensberry fighters, underneath that management company. So guys like Moses Italma is managed by Francis Warren. Pierce O'Leary is managed by Francis Warren. So Francis Warren has got a management company. So he's more on the management side, but obviously he'll only manage Queensberry fighters. But for me, from what the impression I've got, it's been this for years now. The real puppet master and the real string puller has always been George Warren. Very, very smart man. Very, very smart man. Very, very smart man. Anyway, let's move on. So here's my point. I've always thought that Fury versus Usyk will happen. I think Fury versus Anthony Joshua will also happen. And I think that fight's going to happen sooner than we think. Here's what I think will happen, and I could be completely wrong. You guys tell me if you think I'm right or you think I'm wrong. Let's have a chat. Let's have a discussion. I think it will go like this. I'm going to give you a set of predictions. Are you ready? Bang. Joe Joyce beats Zilai Zhang next week. Points. So put your mortgage on Zilai Zhang to knock him out. But I'm going to go with that. I'm going to go with Joe Joyce is going to beat Zilai Zhang on points. Right? If Tyson Fury comes through against Francis Ngannou, and if you look at the state of Tyson Fury right now, he don't look in the greatest of shape. And Lord knows what he's been doing outside of the ring. So you never know with Fury till he gets in the ring, because he's a guy who goes off the rails and on the rails so many times, right? But if Fury comes through against Ngannou, right? If Fury comes through against Ngannou, I believe that the Anthony Joshua fight is the fight that he will ask for next. And I believe that Alexander Usyk will fight Filip Hrgović, which we all know that's going to happen, right? I'm not telling you anything there. But I believe Alexander Usyk will fight Filip Hrgović, but I think that there's going to be a massive, massive, massive effort to make Anthony Joshua versus Tyson Fury after the fight with Ngannou. And I think it's I just got a funny feeling that this is the time now. I really do. Should I tell you why I think it will happen now? This is why I think it will happen. Anthony Joshua is coming to the end of the road. We can all see that. The DAZN thing isn't working out for Anthony Joshua. We can all see that. It's going to get to a point where Anthony Joshua is going to want to be involved in a world title fight, because I think he's going to convince himself. And you guys tell me if you think I'm wrong. I'm just speculating here. Anthony Joshua is going to convince himself that the reason for his poor performances really is that he needs to be involved in big fights. That's what I think is going to happen. Someone's going to convince him, or he's going to convince himself, that the only way that he can get back to his best is if he gets involved in a big fight. And that he can't be involved in any more of these Hellenius's. He can't be involved in any more of these. Who's the pudding who really beat Dillian? What, Jermaine Franklin's? So I think the push is going to come from AJ. I really do. I think the push is going to come from Anthony Joshua. I think Anthony Joshua might get on the phone to somebody and say, look, I might have one more, but after that, I have to be fighting somebody big. Like, I have to be. Like, if I'm not, like, it could be the type of conversation where, listen, you need to go out now and get me a proper fight, because if you can't, then I'm going to go to somebody who will. And I could be completely wrong about that. Let me know, guys. I'm reading your comments. Let me know. Sorry, I haven't done this show for a while. But that's how I feel with where Anthony Joshua is at the minute now. I don't think he's going to prepare to accept too many more tune-ups. Maybe one more, but I think it's going to come to a point where he's going to pick up the phone and say, look, you need to now deliver me now. I want Fury or Wilder. Now, the thing about Fury is he goes straight in. It's a straight shot to the top, isn't it? With Fury. He gets a fight with Fury, and it's a straight shot to the top. It's a straight shot at the man who... It's a shot at the lineal champion, and it's a shot at the WBC champion. And I know the fanboys who run YouTube channels are upset at Fury, and they think Usyk is, you know... And that's great, but the reality is, it is what it is, yeah? So I think maybe one more for AJ. But I think after his one more, he's gonna pick up the phone and say, look, it has to be the big one next. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to, you know, reconsider things. That's what I think it will go. Can't have any more Franklins out there. So I think now, because of Anthony Joshua, I'm just guessing it, but I think Anthony Joshua is going to put more pressure on than he's ever put on before to make sure that this fight goes over the line with Fury. And I think there's a really, really good chance, if Fury beats Ngannou, there's a really, really good chance that we're going to see that fight next. It sounds crazy, isn't it? I sound crazy, don't I? But honestly, I believe it. I actually really do believe it. I just think it will happen. And I think they're both at a point now where they really both need this fight to happen. They both need this fight. Fury needs a legitimate opponent. If he beats Ngannou, yeah, he needs a legitimate opponent. The WBC have already made Anthony Joshua like number 2 in the rankings, haven't they, to Deontay Wilder? And the last thing Tyson Fury wants is a 4th fight with Wilder. You've heard him say it today. He doesn't want a 4th fight with Wilder, right? He doesn't want a 4th fight with Deontay Wilder. Why the fuck would he want that? You can't keep going to the well. Eventually, you're going to get sparked out. So he ain't going to want a 4th fight with Deontay Wilder. So you're looking at it, yeah? The WBC have made him, Anthony Joshua, number 2, and Deontay Wilder's number 1. So if those two fight, whoever wins out of those two is your mandatory. Mate, fuck having Deontay Wilder as my mandatory for a 4th fight. There's no fucking way. I'm bending over backwards to make that fight with Anthony Joshua. I'm going to try and take his ass out before Wilder gets to him. Forget all that stuff. Are you mad? What do you guys think? If I'm in Fury's camp, that's what I'm telling him. That's what I'm telling him. I'm saying, look, fuck all this waiting for Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder to fight so Wilder could be a mandatory for the fucking 4th fight. Mate, I've got a better idea. How about we just go out and take out Anthony Joshua right now? And make a fucking make 50 million while doing it in the UK. Because if he beats Anthony Joshua, yeah? If Fury fights and beats Anthony Joshua, again, Ring Magazine have their rules, blah, blah, blah. But let's be honest. If he beats Anthony Joshua, can anybody honestly say he isn't the best heavyweight in the world? What do you guys think about that? Yes or no? If Tyson Fury was to fight Anthony Joshua early next year and beat him, would there be any doubt in your mind that he is the best heavyweight in the world? I'm just asking you. I could be completely wrong. I'm just saying. I'm asking you. If he was to fight Anthony Joshua in a fight that you would think should be very, very winnable for him, yeah? If he beats Ngannou, right? If he beats Ngannou and looks good, you would think a fight with Anthony Joshua is a very, very winnable fight for Fury, wouldn't you, yeah? It's a very, very winnable fight for a fight that's worth a shit ton of money. And it's also a fight that really, in my opinion, I could be wrong, but I think it would cement him as, well, no, there would still be doubt, obviously, but I think it would be very hard to say he's not the best heavyweight in the world. If he was to defend his WBC title against Anthony Joshua, Deontay Wilder, and Dillian White, I mean, no matter what you think about him, those are actually some good defenses, right? I'm just being honest with you. Like, I'm just saying, innit? Anthony Joshua, Dillian White, Deontay Wilder. I don't know. I'm not a resume man, but I don't know. I think if he beats AJ, I think most people would consider him the best heavyweight in the world. So for him, it's a win-win-win-win-win situation if he can beat AJ. Anthony Joshua needs a big fight. It's not working on the zone. He's not selling out arenas like he used to anymore. He didn't sell out the O2 Arena. Well, Dillian White failed a drugs test, so we don't know if he would have sold out if Wilder had passed the test. But listen, Anthony Joshua has. When was the last time Anthony Joshua sold out an arena? He didn't sell out the arena against Robert Helenius. We know that for a fact. Because we had people who were fucking buying tickets and selling tickets for the events. And we know from people who bought tickets to the event and people who resell tickets to the event that they were sectioning off. They were sectioning off the back of the arena and curtaining off the back of the arena. So we know it wasn't a sellout. And if you don't believe me, you can listen to the AJ Helenius post-fight and you can hear somebody who bought 6 tickets and sold them all come on and tell you themselves. So when was the last time Anthony Joshua actually sold out an arena? Just being honest with you. As far as I'm aware, didn't sell out against Helenius, and he didn't sell out against Jermaine Franklin. Or did he sell out at the last minute against Franklin? Maybe I'm wrong about that. Maybe he sold out at the last minute. But the bottom line of it is Anthony Joshua as a draw has never looked so vulnerable in his career. So he's involved in fights that people don't really care about. He's involved in fights that aren't ready for titles. And he's involved in fights that aren't really getting him anywhere. And he's involved in fights that he's not looking particularly great in. Do you think that's a fair comment, guys, about Anthony Joshua? He's not in fights that are really getting him anywhere. Are you seeing big improvements in these fights? Anthony Joshua versus Jermaine Franklin. Anthony Joshua versus fucking Robert Helenius. Are you honestly seeing big improvements? Me personally, I'm not seeing these improvements. That's me. But what do I know? But I'm not seeing these big improvements. Let me read some of your comments out. I apologize. AJ's head has gone. His head has gone. Signing that DAZN deal. I don't know what he's done with that DAZN deal. I don't know what the hell he was thinking when he did that, to be honest. But then again, we don't know what kind of guarantee. I mean, Ben Shalom is a joke. We know that. AJ is finished. Lifetime contract. He's also on a fixed money contract with DAZN. Mate, honestly, you can't put him in with any. I just saw somebody in the chat say AJ versus Kabayel in December. You can't do AJ versus Kabayel in December. Are you fucking serious? AJ versus Ajit Kabayel in December. I'm telling you now, if they were to do AJ versus Kabayel in December, then you might as well just pack up DAZN and just switch it off and just give Babe Station a new channel. Would you agree with me on that, innit? If DAZN honestly do that, AJ versus Ajit Kabayel, after coming into the market and saying we're gonna take over and it's gonna be game changed, and they serve up Anthony Joshua versus Jermaine Franklin, Anthony Joshua versus Robert Helenius, and Anthony Joshua versus Ajit Kabayel. At that point, yeah, honestly, Sky should take DAZN off the EPG, yeah, and give Babe Station another slot. At that point, you probably end up seeing better boxing on Babe Station at that point. To be honest with you, I mean that would be. I can't believe that. I absolutely cannot believe that. But who wants Wilder versus Fury 4? Listen, Wilder will want that fight for sure. That's why I don't want Fury to take that fight. It's too dangerous, man. It's too dangerous. Too dangerous. AJ value has dropped major. We all know about that. Michael says, the problem is that us boxing fans want Fury to fight his competition to satisfy our demands. But Fury isn't bothered about it and would just rather make money and doesn't care. He doesn't. No, Fury doesn't give a shit about the fans' opinion. That maybe that's a weakness, but mainly it's a strength, isn't it? Doesn't care, does he? But the thing with Fury is, the reason why, honestly, I give Fury a bit of a pass when it comes to these things is, I do think he'll get around to these fights in the end. Like, a lot of people would say that Tyson Fury is very cowardly and is a ducker. Honestly, right? I judge Fury based on what he does in the boxing ring. And some of the things that Fury's done in the boxing ring, to me, are actually some of the most brave things I've ever seen. Let me give you an example. Going to Vladimir Klitschko's backyard in Germany at the time he did, yeah, into the environment that he went into, away from home, the ring was gimmicked. Klitschko tried to get his hands wrapped without anybody seeing. Lord knows what else they were. People don't. Do you think it was just the ring they were gimmicking up for Klitschko? Can you imagine what else they were doing out in Germany? The fucking ring had half a ton of Victoria's sponge in it. Klitschko was trying to get his fucking hands wrapped without anybody seeing. Can you imagine what else was going on in Germany around about the time he fought Klitschko? Jesus Christ, fucking miracle. And he went there and he got a decision. It's bizarre. He got a decision. For me, the second fight with Deontay Wilder, right? How many fighters do you know that would get rendered unconscious like Tyson Fury did in the last round? Now, bearing in mind, Fury was basically, yeah, he was on the final lap to a fucking wide decision over Wilder, yeah? Nobody thought Wilder won that fight, yeah? Fury was doing his victory lap, and Wilder basically laid him out on semi-conscious on the floor. Can I ask you a genuine question? Whatever you think about Fury as a coward, can I ask you genuine, would you consider this cowardness? Against the man who basically laid you out on the floor, semi-conscious in round 12. In the rematch, you walk him down and you walk straight into the power from round 1 to round 7. Brother, let me tell you, honest to God, that is one of the bravest things I have ever seen in a boxing ring. People will call me a fanboy. I don't care. I'm just going to tell you the honest to God's truth. That is one of the bravest things I have ever seen in my life in boxing. A man who got slumped and laid out semi-conscious on the floor in round 12 of a fight against the biggest puncher in boxing, arguably, comes out from round 1 and he walks straight into the power. Now, let me ask you a question. Anthony Joshua, I want you to think about this. Do you honestly believe that Anthony Joshua would get in the ring with an unbeaten Deontay Wilder and walk him down from round 1 and walk into the power? Does anybody believe Anthony Joshua would ever do that? Let alone if he'd been slumped on the floor in the last fight. Do you honestly believe that Anthony Joshua would do that? Hand on heart. For all to talk about for all to talk about Anthony Joshua's resume, who he's fought. Genuine question. If you put him in the ring with an unbeaten Deontay Wilder, would he walk forward from round 1 into the power and be the boss? Would he walk into the fight? Yes or no? You know the answer to the question. He wouldn't do it. He wouldn't do it. He wouldn't do it. That's the truth. Like, you could talk about resumes. You could talk about 50-50 split, 70-30 split. You could talk about who. You could talk about Saudis, who's promoting who. You could talk about it as much as you want. But the bottom line of it is this. You put Anthony Joshua in that ring with Deontay Wilder, and you know what he's going to do. He's going to try and fuck around on the back foot and take the fight into the middle of the late round. He ain't going to walk into the power and try and push Wilder back. Does anybody disagree with me on that? He ain't going to do that. You know he ain't going to do that. So I do give credence because I know Fury contradicts himself, and I know outside of the ring he comes across like a bit of a chicken shit. But in the ring, he does some of the bravest stuff I've ever seen. Nobody ever thought that he would legit, after that 12th round, that he would come out in a rematch and walk that man down. And Shevin said the truth here. Let's just tell the truth. Anthony Joshua wouldn't walk into the fight of Andy Ruiz in the rematch, let alone Wilder. Let's just tell the truth. Anthony Joshua got knocked down 5 times, yeah? By Andy Ruiz. Got in a rematch with Ruiz and got on his bike for 12 rounds, and he boxed beautifully. And he deserved the win, didn't he? He boxed best. But that is other than the Usyk rematch, that's the best I've ever seen Anthony Joshua box. Is in that rematch with Andy Ruiz. He boxed beautifully. But that's the truth, isn't it? Anthony Joshua got knocked down multiple times by Andy Ruiz. He went in there and he refused to engage in it. He wouldn't engage with him, would he? He would not engage with him in the rematch. He went in there and he would not engage. Are you telling me he's going to do what Tyson Fury did and get in the ring with Wilder, an undefeated Wilder, and say, do you know what? Nah. I'm walking straight into the power.
I'm not having it. From round one, from the bell going off, he's going to walk straight into the power, slip the right hand to the outside, and return his own right hand over the top. You telling me Anthony Joshua's going to do that, yeah? He's going to stay just outside the punching range and slip Wilder's right hand and then try and throw the counter right over the top. Are you telling me that's going to happen? It's not going to happen, is it? So that's my opinion, isn't it? And that's why I do give Fury a bit of a pass, because look, he's an arsehole. We all know that. You know, he's an arsehole. He's full of shit. We know that. He contradicts himself. Absolutely. Look, is Fury a liar? Absolutely. Is Tyson Fury a clean athlete? Not in my opinion. No, he's not. Does he constantly contradict himself? Yes, he does. Is he full of shit? Yes, he is. Did he really give all his money to those homeless people? No, he didn't. You know, is Fury up his own arse? Absolutely. Is he not very good at taking criticism? No, he's not. Did he absolutely embarrass himself in the interview with the true Geordie? Yes, he did. Does he lie when he say he doesn't do things for money? You know, Tyson, I don't do things for money. Money isn't my God. Is that a lie? Yes, it is. So of course he does. He's a liar. Absolutely. Is he? You know, he's a liar. Is he a cheat? Probably. Is he a liar? Absolutely. But I'm just giving you my honest opinion. But when that bell rings, Tyson Fury has shown that he will literally go and put his chin on the line. The man got up from the 12th round knockdown against Deontay Wilder and went straight back into swinging and then hurt Wilder with a left hook. Again, Anthony Joshua ain't going to do that. I'm just going to tell you that now. If Deontay Wilder knocks Anthony Joshua down in their fight, can I ask you guys an honest question before we change topic? If Anthony Joshua was to fight Deontay Wilder this December and Wilder knocks AJ down, is Anthony Joshua going to get up like Tyson Fury did in the 12th round and take the fight to him and hit him with a left hook? Tell the truth. Is he going to get up and fight fire with fire and try and punch himself out of trouble, or is he going to run on the back foot? Just tell the truth. I know what's going to happen. You know what's going to happen. And Eddie Hearn knows what's going to happen. That's why this fight ain't been made in 10 years. That's all I got to tell you, man. That's why this fight ain't been made in 10 years. Because they know what's going to happen, man. They know what's going to happen if he gets hit. They know it. They know what will happen if he gets hit. He knows what will happen if he gets hit. That's why you ain't seeing that fight in December. He knows. And you can't resume your way out of that. You can't resume your way out of that. You can't Ring Magazine title your way out of that. People need to understand this. You can't box rank your way out of that. You can't do it. You can't. Because you either have it in your heart or you don't, man. You either have it in your heart to get up off the canvas and fight back, or you don't. You can't Ring Magazine that into your heart, bro. You can't all them guys rapping on about the Ring Magazine belt, man. You can't Ring Magazine it into your heart to get up after being flattened in the 12th round. You can't do it, man. You can't. You either have it or you don't have it. You can't resume it into your heart to get up when you get flattened in the 12th and fight back. You can't resume that into your heart, G. You either have it or you don't have it. And some people have it in boxing, yeah? And some people like me don't have it. And that's the truth. You come onto this channel because you want to hear the truth as I see it. That's the truth about boxing. Not everybody has it. Simple as that. Big up, Tony. What are you saying, Tony? I hope you're good. And LD Phoenix is bang on. To be fair, Ultra, he got up from Vladimir's monster right hand. I have to say, give AJ massive credit for that. Because I still can't believe he got up from that. Massive credit. Right, let's look at some fights ahead, shall we? Let's look at some fights ahead. British boxing is an absolute disgrace. How many channels have been telling you that in the last year or two? I think I'm pretty much the only one who's been telling you that British boxing is in the gutter. Am I lying or am I not lying? I'm not going to lie to you and tell you that British boxing's at an all-time high. British boxing's in the gutter, mate. Can you not see? British boxing's in the gutter. Let's see what the oh, by the way, let me quickly say, Ben Shalom needs to retire from boxing. Can I just say, can you give me a 9 in the chat if you think that Ben Shalom should retire from promoting boxing? I know we slag off Eddie Hearn and stuff like that, yeah? But you can never compare Eddie Hearn to Ben Shalom. Let's just look. Come on, man. Do you know what I mean? Let's just get that thing straight. Let me turn off this fan because I think I'm cool enough. I mean, we slag off Eddie Hearn. Eddie Hearn is an absolutely rancid piece of you-know-what, okay? Eddie Hearn is an absolute rancid piece of you-know-what, yeah? I think I find this record on backing drugs cheats to be disgusting. And I think he's put lives on the line in the ring. But let me tell you something right now. You could never compare Ben Shalom to Eddie Hearn in any way, shape, or form. Let me make that clear. I mean, there's levels and then there's levels. Do you know what I mean? 1 second. I mean, there's levels and then there's levels. I mean, Ben Shalom. I'm surprised Ben Shalom didn't get out of business with Wilkinson today. Have you heard the news about Wilkinson being shut down? Wilkinson done out of business. They're blaming the Tories. It's the Tories. It's the Tories. They're blaming the Tories for Wilkinson going out of business. So Wilkinson are done. You better go in and get your half-price mops and your half-price flash right now because Wilkinson done finished. I'm surprised Boxer didn't go along with Wilco. Pretty much the same business. Am I right or am I wrong? Tell me if I'm right or am I wrong. But tell me, what is the difference in business between Wilkinson and Boxer? They sell the same product, don't they? Am I lying or am I not lying? What do you guys think in the chat? Wilkinson or Boxer? What? But they sell the same product. Look, garden gnomes, right? Can I get a garden gnome from Wilkinson? Do they sell garden gnomes? Do they sell plant pots? Look, here we go. Garden gnome, £25. Okay. Didn't Boxer just recently charge me nearly £25 for a piece of shit pay-per-view card that featured the likes of fucking Dave Allen versus Fraser Clark? Am I lying or am I not lying? What's the difference? What's the difference? Wilco selling me a garden gnome for 25, but it's better value than fucking that Eubank versus Liam Smith pay-per-view, was it not? Dave Allen versus Fraser Clark. Same thing, innit? What's the difference between Wilkinson and Boxer? Why is Wilco out of business and Boxer still in business? They're selling the same shit, right? What? Let me see Boxer's website. What are they selling me? Are they still trying to sell me Steve USSR Robinson as a killer? What happened to this guy? Are they still trying to sell me this guy as Ivan Drago? Steve USSR Robinson. What's he called? Oh yeah, he had to change his name, didn't he? Are they still trying to sell me this guy as the closest thing in boxing to Ivan Drago? Steve USSR Robinson. If he dies, he dies. Is that legit how they were trying to sell him on Boxer? Boxer is an absolute clown show, mate. As far as I'm concerned. They're the Wilkinson of boxing, mate. Garden gnomes, plant pots, tarmac drives, spades. What else have we got here? Garden tables, seeds and bulbs, shrubs and trees, garden ornaments, also known as Caroline Dubois fights. Garden ornaments, also known as Caroline Dubois fights on the undercard. What dinner lady are they serving up for Caroline Dubois this week? I mean, Boxer is absolutely and utterly atrocious. They are absolutely and utterly atrocious. Honestly, maybe they need to give that boxing contract to Wilkinson, you know. Sky Sports need to bring Wilkinson into the boxing game. You know, they weren't successful at selling, you know, half price tat, yeah, next to Poundland, yeah. But I'm being serious. Wilkinson, yeah, might want to try their hand in the boxing game. Because even they, yeah, could do a job, yeah, better than Ben Shalom. They could go straight from selling, yeah, half price Flash and Fairy Max and dustpans and brushes. And they could jump straight into fucking... They could jump straight into running cards on Sky Sports and still do a better job than Ben Shalom. Michael Fulton says, Buatsi Dan Aziz, October the 21st. Ben Illuminati Shalom delivered there. Is that the one where Joshua Buatsi turned up on Sky Sports News signing a blank piece of paper? Did you guys not see my Twitter on that? Is that the fight where Joshua Buatsi turned up, yeah, on Sky Sports News and was given a piece of paper to sign? And a piece of paper was pretty much blank. And then they were telling you that was some form of contract signing. Fuck me. Never seen a blank contract before. I've never seen a blank contract before. What was that he signed? I don't know what that was. That wasn't a contract. That's how boxer run things, mate. Do you not get it? That's how boxer run things. It's everything on a shoestring budget, mate. Go back and watch that video of Boatsy signing that contract with Aziz. There's no small print on it. There's no small print on it. I spotted that, innit? And that was any other promotion, I wouldn't even think to check. But because it was Boxer, I thought, let me just check. Because Boxer is an absolute fucking clown show, mate. So I thought, let me have a look at that bit of paper. The bit of paper was fucking mostly blank. There ain't no fucking terms on it. So yeah, he signed the contract, but I don't think he signed the actual contract on Sky Sports. They're giving him props. That's how boxers operate, bro. Props. Props. These dudes be going up there. For all we know, Joshua Buatsi didn't even use a real pen. Because from where I'm standing, that certainly wasn't the real fucking contract. But anyway, let me carry on. Right, let's see what's going on in the sport of British boxing. My bad. Let's see what's going on in the sport of British boxing. Right, Matchroom. You guys told me this is the creme de la creme of boxing promoters in the UK. Am I lying or am I not lying? That's what you guys telling me, yeah? You guys told me Matchroom is the creme de la creme of boxing contracts. Well, what have we got here? We have got this in Britain. So let's stick to British cards. Right, what have we got here? Jordan Thompson has somehow found himself involved in a world title fight. Can anybody understand? I've seen him box a handful of times, but can somebody tell me how Jordan Thompson managed to find his way into a world title shot? Because the last time I saw Jordan Thompson, he did get hurt by a journeyman, didn't he? Didn't he get dropped by a journeyman? I'm not saying he's a rubbish boxer. I'm not saying anything like that. I'm just asking the question. You guys know more about boxing than me. When you came up with a list of world title contenders for Jay Opatea at cruiserweight, was Jordan Thompson the first name that came to your mind? Because it does seem like a pretty quick step up. It was only yesterday that this man was on the undercard to the likes of the Campbell Hattons of the world, weren't he? Like Jordan Thompson, like he was in like the lower undercard, didn't he? When he though, Jordan Thompson, he was just after before the bell, wasn't he? Like you got before the bell at 5:30, then you got the main card at 7. He was coming on just after 7 o'clock. Like he was in that sort of Campbell Hatton type time zone. How the fuck do you go from that to main eventing for the IBF World Cruiserweight title? I've heard that dreaded phrase again. Dare to be great. I've heard that dreaded phrase again. Dare to be great. You know what that means, don't you? You know what that means? That means that careers will be getting ended on Saturday the 30th of September 2023. Whenever you hear those words, dare to be great, you know that somebody somewhere is getting knocked out viciously and brutally and or will never be the fucking same again. Jay Optia versus Jordan Thompson on the... Oh, is he Tony Sims gym? Hold on a minute. Oh, is Jordan Thompson part of the Tony Sims gym? Okay, I'll take it back. I'm going for Jordan Thompson by knockout then in the first round. 100%. If Jordan Thompson's in the Tony Sims gym, then I'm going for Jordan Thompson to win that fight by knockout in the first round. Take it back. I'll never, ever back against the Tony Sims fighter. Ever. Ellie Scottney. IBF World Super Bantamweight title. She won a title in 7 fights. Where's the Jose Mourinho meme that I keep forgetting to upload to this channel? If I speak, I will be in trouble. And I don't want to be in trouble. Ellie Scottney. IBF World Champion in 7 fights. If I speak about women's boxing, I will be in big trouble. That's all I can say, man. If I speak about women's boxing, I will be in big trouble. Her opponent is Laura Grifa. 120, lost 8, 1 KO. Fuck me. This is the fucking... This is just before the main event. Oh, Jesus. This is just before the main event. Ellie Scottney versus Laura Grifa. Fuck me. 120, lost 8. Chevron Clark versus Vasil Druka. Rhiannon Dixon versus Katarina Vanders. And then we've got, what's this? Look at these TBs. When's this card? 30th of September. Hold on a minute. This card takes place in 2 weeks' time. Look how many TBAs we got. Ibrahim Suleiman versus TBA. Jimmy Sains making his debut versus TBA. Maisie Rose Courtney versus TBA. Shannon Ryan versus TBA. George Lidard versus TBA. Oh, Jesus Christ. It's getting desperate, isn't it? No disrespect, but it's getting desperate over a matchroom, isn't it? Fucking hell, mate. Things can't continue like this, innit? Surely not. They've got to make stars and make stars quickly. I'm being serious, you know, because Anthony Joshua's possibly coming to the end of the road. Over at Matchroom, they need to find a star, and they need to find a British boxing star very, very quickly. Because I'll tell you what, with the way these Matchroom cards are going, I'm almost starting to feel sorry for them. And when that happens, you know things are very bad. Let's tell the truth, innit? I'm almost starting to feel sorry for these people, you know? Look at this. If you look at how strong Matchroom were, 2010-ish, if you look at how strong Matchroom were in 2010, and you just look 10 years later, the kind of absolute pedigree chum that they are serving up these days. I mean, oh, don't worry. Speaking of pedigree chum, we'll be going on Queensbury's. The thing about Queensbury is Queensbury never update their website with any fights anyway. That's one way to avoid criticism. Do what Queensbury do. Just don't put the fights up on the website. That's how Queensbury do it, innit? Avoid scrutiny. Just don't put the fights up at all. Right. Let's carry on. This is a good main event, no question about it. This is a good main event, no question about it. Lee Wood and Josh Warrington on Saturday, October the 7th. Listen, that is a good main event, and it will, tune in to watch the end of Josh Warrington's career. So there you go. Tune in to watch the end of Josh Warrington, because Lee Wood will be knocking out Josh Warrington in this fight. So stay tuned to see the end of Josh Warrington's career. A career that never, ever recovered after he made the move to Matchroom. Let's just be honest with you. His career was never the same again after he moved to Matchroom, but it is what it is. But Lee Wood, it's a great fight. I'll be watching this one if I can. WBA Wolf, it's a great fight to watch. A great fight to watch. It'll be a barnstorm. I think Lee was one of the best in this country, Lee Wood. And as you guys all know, I'm one of the very, very few people who picked Lee Wood to win in the rematch. The night he lost, I said, Lee Wood will win in the rematch. I said, they'll do a rematch clause and Lee Wood will get it done. And he did. He did. So I think Lee Wood's one of the very, very best fighters in this country. I think he's a tremendous boxer. One of the best boxers we have in this country as well. He's a fantastic boxer. So Lee Wood will be ending Josh Warrington's career on Saturday, the 7th of October. Let's have a look at the undercard. Terry Harper versus Cecilia Brackhouse. How long has Cecilia Brackhouse been boxing for? Because I'm not being funny. We're getting to the point in Cecilia Brackhouse's career where her age maybe more than a number of wins. Number of wins, 37. How old is Cecilia Brackhouse? Seems like she's been around for a very, very long time. Am I right about that? Someone said she was old enough to be Terry Harper's mum. I did think that was taking it a little bit too far, to be honest. You know who you are on Twitter who was saying that. I thought that was really cruel when someone said that Cecilia Brackhouse is old enough to be Terry Harper's mum. Hold on a minute. She really might be. She's born in 1981. She's 41 years old. She's 41 years old. What the fuck, man? She's 41 years old. The first lady of boxing. Jesus. This way, she's going to be the last lady of boxing. 41 years. Hold on a minute. 28th of September. What's the date now? She's 42 in 2 weeks. So she's 42 in 2 weeks. When's this card? Matchroom. 7th of October. And she was born on the 28th of fucking September. Matchroom won't even let her have her birthday in peace. Matchroom won't even let Cecilia Brackhouse have her 42nd birthday in peace. They're going to throw her in a fucking ring with Terry Harper to get smashed to pieces. At 42. She's 42. She needs to get in the ring with Terry Harper. $42. I'm not even 42. You know what she needs? Look. Told you before. 42 years old. Cecilia Brackhouse fighting Terry Harper. Someone needs to get Cecilia Brackhouse on her knees. That's what she needs. I hear DFS do a lovely reclining chair that you can enjoy with a nice hot mug of hot chocolate. That's where Cecilia Brackhouse needs to be right now. On a nice chair. On a nice mug of Horlicks. She's pushing 50, man. She's pushing 50. She's a middle-aged woman. She shouldn't be in a fucking boxing ring getting punched in the head by fucking Terry Harper. 1 week after her 42nd birthday. Fucking hell. They are taking the piss, aren't they? Jesus Christ. How old are you, Ultra? I'm not 40 yet. Kieran Conway. Remember him? Do you remember when Kieran Conway was meant to be the next biggest thing in British boxing? About 5 years ago. Do you remember that? Kieran Conway. It was meant to be like the next biggest thing in British boxing. That lasted about 5 minutes. He'll be fighting Lindus Udolfo, who's a very, very good fighter, and who only lost in a very, very close fight with Denzel Bentley. So Lindus Udolfo is a very, very good fighter. Hopi Price versus Conor Coghill. I don't know who the fuck that is. Junaid Boston's a good fighter. I'm not going to disrespect him because Junaid Boston is a good fighter. I like Junaid Boston. He's a good fighter. Cameron Vong is meant to be a good prospect. And Nico Lavars versus Ryan Walker. But still, look, you've got a good fight top of the bill. But let's be honest, the undercard is full of shite. Let's be honest, innit? It is absolutely full of shite. Jack Catterall versus Jorge Linares. Are you guys up for this or not? Saturday, the 21st of October. Linares is another one, isn't it? People are saying, fuck me. He's old enough to be someone's fucking granddad. Let's check his age. What's his age? He's 38 years old, right? So Jorge Linares, a 38-year-old Jorge Linares, is getting in the ring with Jack Catterall. On the undercard, Peter McGrail versus Fran Mendoza. Akib Vias, Reese Bellotti is still boxing. Actually, he's had a couple of wins, hasn't he, recently? I've heard he's been back on a winning streak. But Akib Vias versus Reese Bellotti. Shabazz Massoud, who we do like a bit of Shabazz Massoud, is fighting Jose San Martin. Kahil Majid is fighting Tom Farrell, former O'Hara Davis victim. And then look what we got. Our old friend TBC's back. We've got William Corolla versus TBC. Paddy Lacey versus Owen Kirk. The great Muhammad Ali versus TBC. And then we've got our man Campbell Hatton versus TBC as well. Saturday, 21st of October, 2023. It's just shit on top of shit on top of shit on top of shit. And we won't go and look any further than that. Cordina versus Vasquez just got announced today, didn't it? Wonder if they'll be doing VADA for that. Or will it be drug-free sport again? Oh, and Ramla Ali. Oh, God. Oh, Jesus. The hardcore's favorite, Ramla Ali, will be back in the ring in a rematch against Julissa Guzman. Oh, my God. Let's have a quick look at Queensbury before we fuck off. Because we know Queensbury stink as well. Queensbury don't even put fights up anyway. Queensbury just hide their shows now. That's Queensbury's one. Their cards are so shit, they just hide them all. And then I'm going to put them up on the channel and sack them off. Let's have a look at Queensbury. Queensbury Promotions. Okay, now. Let's see. If we can just get some cards up on here, it'll be a plus. Right, Zile Zhang versus Joe Joyce is next week. I've got Joe Joyce to win that fight on points. Give me your predictions right now for Zhang and Joyce. I've got Joyce on points. Let's have a look. You see them hiding the Queensbury at it again. Look, hiding the cards. That's what Queensbury do. They're clever, you know. They know a man like me is going to come on here and scour their cards, innit? Let's have a look. Events. Let's see what they got. Let's see what we got for events. Right. Zhang versus Joyce 2. Where's the undercard, nigga? Oh, excuse my language. Where's the undercard at, man? Yard versus Ricky Summers. Oh, that is... Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, Jesus. I was surprised the British Boxing Board of Control allowed that one. Yard versus Ricky Summers. Oh, dear. It's bad. It's really bad. Sam Noakes against TBA. Pierce O'Leary against TBA. Royston Barney Smith against TBA. Ezra Taylor versus Joel McIntyre. I'm not going to slag off Tommy Fletcher because I do like him. And he is and obviously we're a very Marxist friendly show. Alois Jr. versus TBA. Obviously the hope is to get Tommy Fletcher and Alois Jr. in the ring. That's why they're both fighting on the same card. So hopefully those two will be getting matched soon. But I have to say, this is diabolical, you know. Yard versus Ricky Summers. I'm sorry, man. That is diabolical, man. Tony ain't a fan of Tunde Ajayi, man. I don't know, Tony. I don't know about Tunde myself, Tony, to be honest with you. We'll have to see. I just think he's been unlucky, hasn't he? I think if Anthony Yarde fought anybody other than the two biggest killers in light heavyweight in the last fucking decade, he'd be a champion. Just think his timing was all wrong, but it is what it is. But I tell you one thing, Ricky Summers, that is abysmal. That I have to be honest with you and say that is genuinely abysmal. Let's carry on with events here. Quickly see what else Queensbury have got for me. Fight Night Live. To be fair, look, these aren't big events. These York halls are to bring the stars of tomorrow through. These aren't big shows. Ellis Sorrow, Willie Hutchinson, Masood Abdullah, who I think was brought through by my friend Alfie Warren. I think brought through Masood Abdullah. Let me double check that. But I'm pretty sure that Masood Abdullah was managed by, and probably is still managed by, Alfie Warren, who's a friend of the show. I think Alfie brought him through from scratch. Think about the Warrens is, yeah? And I'm telling you this firsthand, yeah? They do love the sport of boxing. I'm not saying they always do things the right way, but I'm just telling you now, that's a family that does love the sport of boxing, like, you know? And they do cover boxing from small hall to the big shows. But I'm pretty sure Alfie brought this guy, Masood Abdullah, and I think he won the British Boxing Writers Fighter of the Year, didn't he? Didn't this guy Masood Abdullah win the British Boxing Writers Young Fighter of the Year? I'm pretty sure he was brought through from scratch by Alfie Warren, who's a friend of mine. Kara Talma, who Everything Boxing said he was one of the biggest talents in the UK at one point. Everything Boxing, if you're listening, Darshan had him down as one of his top 3 talents in the whole of the UK, like last year before. Kara Talma, and obviously he had that knockout loss. Carl Fale, Chris Bork, Joshua Frankham, Sean Noakes, Natty Ngenwa, you know, TBA. But look, you know, it is what it is. This is a York Hall prospect show. You know, we're not putting this on the zone where people are paying fucking, do you know what I mean? Fucking £10, £12 a month for this kind of shit. Because then it really would be a problem. Willie Hutchinson is someone who I've always rated. I know he got knocked out by Leonard Clark, but Willie Hutchinson is somebody who I've always rated, and he's managed by Shelley Finkel. And there's something in that, isn't there? When Shelley Finkel manages you, Shelley Finkel sees something in you, then maybe there's something there, you know. Considering that Shelley Finkel's managed Deontay Wilder and Mike Tyson. So when you get managed by Shelley Finkel, maybe there is something in Willie Hutchinson. We'll have to wait and see. And obviously, we know that he was a world-class amateur. So we have to wait and see, innit? It's nice, isn't it, in boxing when everybody gets along, isn't it? You know, Frank Warren promoted, managed by Shelley Finkel. It's lovely, isn't it, when just, you know, promoters and managers from America and the UK can just get along and make fights happen. You know, promote each other and manage each other's fighters. It's lovely when that can happen, isn't it? It's lovely when that can happen. When you don't start making anti-Semitic comments about people in IFL TV and referring to people as Shirley. It's amazing how much progress we can make in the boxing world, isn't it? Right, let's finish off. I apologize about it being a boring show tonight. Listen, we actually done quite well tonight. We had 130, pretty much all the way through, which I'm really grateful for. In the middle of the fucking night as well. I really appreciate that. It's not even a fight night, but you know, I'm just cleaning out the cobwebs, really. Conor Benn, the latest, he's back, isn't he? Conor Benn. You guys are mentioning Conor Benn. Conor Benn's back. When's he back? December time in Florida, isn't he? Isn't he back December time in Florida? So we'll wait and see for the official announcement, but it looks like they're trying to get Conor Benn out before the ruling on whether UCAD have the rights to hear his case. I'm not going to say anything about that until the time comes, but I think Matchroom are making a big mistake by doing this. I really do. You know, I really do think Matchroom are making a huge mistake with this Conor Benn thing. I just don't know what they're thinking about this guy. I just don't know what they're thinking about this guy, you know? And you know what, honestly, and I'll give you I've kind of given you this opinion before, but I'm going to give you this opinion again. It's not about the drug testing and stuff. It's about Conor Benn as a whole, right? And I'll say something about Conor Benn because there's only 100 people in here, so no one's really listening, right? I don't know what they're thinking at Matchroom, where they would drag their brand that Barry Hearn has worked his whole life to build up from absolute scratch. I don't know why they would drag their brand and their reputation through the gutter for Conor Benn. I'm so sorry. It stinks of desperation. It absolutely and utterly stinks of desperation. And I think there has to be some things going on behind the scenes with the zoning. There has to be something because it is sheer desperation, the way they're behaving with Conor Benn. For me, I'm just being honest with you. It is sheer desperation. This guy, Conor Benn, I'm going to say it one more time, yeah? I was not talking about UCAD. I'm not going to get into the technicalities of UCAD and the National Anti-Doping Panel. I'm just talking about Conor Benn, right? Conor Benn is a very hard worker. Conor Benn is not, never has been, and never will be a talented boxer. Press one if you agree with me on that, or press two if you disagree. Listen, people need to get that into their fucking heads. Conor Benn is not a talented boxer. He's not. He's incredibly, let me say this now. Conor, if you're listening, Conor, you would smash me up on the street and you would smash me up in the ring, Conor. You're more man than I will ever be, and you're 20 times the boxer I will ever be. But I'm just going to tell the 100% honest truth about Conor Benn. Conor Benn is not a talented fighter. Conor Benn is somebody who got into boxing because of his second name. He got into boxing because of his dad. Now, let's just be honest with you. Conor Benn, if you look at his original fights, on Sky Next Gen, and if you look at his performances, he showed absolutely no ability whatsoever to ever get to world level. Am I right about that, or am I wrong about that? Why do people ignore that about Conor Benn? Why do people ignore that? Only 3 or 4 years ago, this was a guy who was looking borderline hopeless at British level. Am I lying about Conor Benn, or am I telling the truth? This is a guy, you get some fighters, right? And they're rusty, but you can tell the talent's there. There's an ability there. Maybe they're slick. They're really good at avoiding punches, or they're very good defensively, or they have great footwork, or they have massive punch power, or, you know, they have something about them. Do you know what I mean? I can't explain it, but you know, you see some fighters and they're raw. But listen, a lot of people, look, Tyson Fury went to Emmanuel Stewart, right? When he was a young pup, didn't he? And Manny Stewart looked at Tyson Fury and said, that's the next heavyweight champion of the world. Is that true or not true? I'm not Manny Stewart, obviously, right? But you look at certain fighters, like you look at Anthony Joshua, right? So you look at Anthony Joshua. Obviously, he had a much longer amateur background. But you look at Anthony Joshua's pro career when Anthony Joshua first started. And you could see that this is a guy who is much, much more than British level. Anthony Joshua. When you looked at Joe Cordina, when Joe Cordina used to box on the same next gen cards here that Conor Benn used to box at, you look at Joe Cordina, like this guy, Joe Cordina, is much more than British level. Years ago, I was saying Joe Cordina is the best out of all of them guys on Sky Sports Next Gen. I was saying Joe Cordina is by far the best out of all of them. Look at Joe Cordina. Joe Cordina is way above British. You just look at certain fighters. They have certain things about them. They do certain things in the ring, and they do certain things, and you just think, you know what? He has got something. Conor Benn never, ever had that at any point in his career. Am I lying on my telling the truth? He never had it. He never had it. He's never had anything. He never had any punch power. He never had any kind of raw punch power. He didn't look like he had particularly amazing stamina. He didn't look like a particularly quick fighter. He didn't have very, very good footwork. He wasn't very, very defensive minded. He wasn't outstanding defensively. And he still loads up on his shots till this day. But he was a guy who you never looked at him and thought, I can see something in him. There was nothing. There was nothing. And again, no disrespect, but that he was a guy, they didn't even want to match him at British level. They was afraid to match him against, they had him and they had Josh Kelly and that, all in the same stable. And they wouldn't match him. They wouldn't match him. Him, Josh Kelly, all of these guys in the same stable, they would not match him. They wouldn't match him. He was protected. All of a sudden, he goes on a break, doesn't he? Because he's got a broken jaw. He comes back from this break. And all of a sudden, it's like looking at a completely different fighter. I don't know what they see in this guy. Because when he loses, that's pretty much it for him, you know. That's my opinion about Conor Benn. Once Conor Benn gets beaten and the mystique is gone from Conor Benn, he's done. To me, he's not going to be one of them guys that you can keep recycling. He's going to build up a loyal fan base of people who are going to have 15, 20,000 people that are going to keep seeing him. This isn't Ricky Hatton. This isn't a guy with an organic fan base, someone like a Ricky Hatton. Win, lose, or draw, Manchester Arena is getting sold out because it's Ricky. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? Ricky Hatton, an organic fan base, a real movement of people. Manchester born and bred, Man City through and through. Win, lose, or draw, 20,000 plus. 20,000 plus, no matter what. Win, lose, or draw, he still sell out arenas. Conor Benn doesn't have that kind of organic following. It's all been manufactured. Press 1 if you agree with me, press 2 if you disagree with me. Am I lying? It's all been, the whole thing's been manufactured from the get-go, isn't it? No disrespect, but Conor Benn is the equivalent of one of them Beyond Meat burgers, isn't he? Conor Benn's like one of them double McPlants that I keep ordering from McDonald's, isn't it? The whole thing's manufactured to taste like meat, smell like meat, and look like meat. But it ain't really meat, is it? And that's what it's going to be with him, isn't it? The problem with guys like him, yeah, is when guys like him take a loss, the fans jump off the bandwagon very, very quickly because the whole thing was never organic to begin with. It was never organic to begin with. To me, he is not an individual that is worth dragging the reputation of Matchroom into the gutter for. It ain't worth it. What is Eddie Hearn's valuation of Matchroom boxing? What does he value it at? He values it at something ridiculous, right? $1 billion or something. Am I right about that, Osman? He values Matchroom at $1 billion or something ridiculous. I mean, if you're $1 billion company, you don't bend over and get reamed like this to save Conor Benn. Anthony Joshua, I understand it. That's a different story. Anthony Joshua, prime Anthony Joshua, at the top of his game, fails a drugs test. And I understand why you go to the lengths you go to. Absolutely. A prime Anthony Joshua. A prime undefeated Anthony Joshua fails a drugs test after the Klitschko fight. And yeah, I understand it all. I understand why you go to bat for him. I understand that. I understand why you go to risk it all. I understand that. But for Conor Benn, you know, you have to ask yourself the question, is he really that good? Is he really that fucking good? My opinion is, I don't think he is. I've never thought he is. I could be completely wrong. I don't think he is that good. I don't think he is that good. And that's what it comes down to. That's my I think other channels are going to start nicking my saying here, but people keep trying to resume things away, don't they? They keep trying to ticket sell things away. And they keep trying to resume things away. Man, you can't resume this away with Conor Benn. You can't ticket sell this away. He just isn't that good, man. There's a reason why he's been matched the way he's been matched. And there is a reason why they continue to match him the way they're matching him. There's a reason why he's fighting the likes of an Algeria. I'm not saying he's scared. He'll fight anybody. I'm not saying Conor Benn's scared. Conor Benn will fight anybody. He's a fighting man. But there's a reason why his handlers are putting him in with Algeries and Van der Heerdens. And those are the fights that he's involved in. And there's a reason why he's never been in the ring with like a Josh Kelly or these. There's a reason why. So is that the guy really that's worth trashing the reputation over? I don't think so. If I was matching him, I'd think very, very carefully over making this Chris Eubank Jr. fight. And let me say something else as well. And Games You Love just brought it up. I keep hearing about Conor Benn's this massive draw. I've never seen any where is the evidence of this? I've never seen any evidence to suggest this, that he's some kind of massive draw. All I heard was there was rumors that the pay-per-view numbers for the Eubank fight were very, very good. Well, what does very, very good mean? Because the Zone's pay-per-view numbers aren't they usually rock bottom from what I've heard? But let me know. But that's it, isn't it? Like, the rumors were that in the run-up to the Eubank fight, that the Zone had done much better on pay-per-view than they did normally. So what? Where is the evidence that he is this kind of... I mean, if the Zone would just simply tell us the viewing figures in the UK of how many people are actually watching this guy fight live, not on demand, live, then we could actually... But they won't release the figures. You know why they won't release the figures. You know, to put two and two together there, but... I've never seen any evidence that he's this kind of massive super draw. I've never seen it. I think they're hoping. I think Matchroom are hoping to try and recreate something with this Benn versus Eubank thing. I'm going to be honest with you. I think it's pure desperation. Yeah, I think it's pure desperation. I think they're hoping and wishing that a bunch of 50-year-olds get nostalgic about the real Benn and Eubank. Because let's just tell it how it is. These two they're nothing like their old men, are they? Particularly Conor Benn. I mean, I know Nigel backs his son to the finish, but Conor's nothing like Nigel. Like, he's literally nothing like Nigel, is he? He's nothing like him. He looks like him, but he's nothing like him. There will never be another Nigel Benn. Like, I was going to start taking the piss and mentioning beard transplants, and I don't want to do that because I won't do it to Conor's face, but there will never be another Nigel Benn. Nigel Benn, right, towards the tail end of his career, got in with a prime Joel McLennan. Do you understand what that is? Nigel Benn, towards the end of his career, getting in with a prime Joel McLennan. Do you know what that is? Do you know, and I'm saying, do people know who Joel McLennan was? And how hard of a puncher he was? Do people understand what that is? Jesus Christ, man. It's one of the hardest punches in the history of boxing. Literally. Like, this guy was like, he was a super puncher. Forget all this shit that we hear today. Inoue's a big punch. Yeah, Inoue's a big punch. But, you know, do you know what I mean? McLennan was a fucking killer, man. He was a killer. He was cleaning out guys like Julian. How many rounds did he clean out Julian Jackson in, who was a huge puncher? How many rounds did he clean out Julian Jackson in? Was it a round or two? McLennan.
Didn't McLennan have the record for the most amount of first round knockouts in world title? I mean, the guy just people don't understand. Like, he was and will always will be one of the legitimate hardest hitters in the history of boxing. This wasn't like, oh, he's getting in the ring with a big puncher. Like, he was getting in a ring with one of the hardest punchers in the fucking history of boxing, man. So you can never ever compare this man to his father. He'll never be like his father, man. Like, let me put it into perspective for you. You could put, Conor Benn in the ring, with fucking Errol Spence. And that would be a far less dangerous fight than Nigel Benn getting in the ring with fucking Gerald McLennan. Do you understand? Because Errol Spence couldn't hurt somebody like Gerald McLennan could. Even if you made Ben versus Errol Spence today, in my opinion, that still wouldn't be a bigger step up, than Nigel Benn jumping in the ring with a prime Gerald McLennan like that. Ridiculous, mate. Absolutely ridiculous. He will never, ever be his father. No matter what you think of me, no matter what you think of Matchroom, no matter what you think of Eddie Hearn, no matter what you think of Varda, he will never be his father. And they just keep trying to chase it, don't they? Like, this guy here, Chris Eubank Jr. Let's be honest with you. He doesn't have, in my opinion, a tenth of the charisma that his old man had. What do you guys think about that? He doesn't have a tenth of the charisma that Chris Eubank had. Chris Eubank was a strange guy. Absolutely. But Chris Eubank transcended British boxing. This is a guy who was on TV, primetime TV. This is a guy that they made documentaries about. I'm not saying Spence wouldn't take him out. I'm not saying Spence wouldn't take out Conor Benn, but I don't believe he would. Listen, there's certain guys in boxing, in my opinion, let me know if you think I'm wrong. There's certain guys in boxing you get in the ring with, and like, you have to think like, fuck, there's a good chance that you're not going to be the same ever again. Do you understand? So, I'll give you an example of modern day fighters. People aren't going to want to hear this, but I'm going to tell the truth. Deontay Wilder. I know people don't want to hear that he's a terrible boxer. I'm just telling you the truth. Deontay Wilder is a guy who, whether you you can try and resume it away as much as you want. I'm just giving you my opinion. My opinion is Deontay Wilder is one of them fighters. If you step in the ring with him and things go wrong, they can go really wrong. Do you know what I mean? Really wrong. Really wrong. Gennady Golovkin wasn't a one-punch knockout man, Wasn't a one-punch knockout man. But my God, Golovkin. He's another guy who you get in the ring with Golovkin and you have to say, is he ever going to be the same again after Golovkin? Probably not. Do you understand? That kind of fighter. You get in the ring with him and you question, like, you know that you're going to have to lose something to win something. You're going to have to lose a piece of yourself to win the fight. Nigel Benn lost himself that night when he beat Gerald McLennan. We all know that. I watched the fight live on TV. For those of us who watched the fight live on ITV, we all know the truth. The truth was Nigel Benn had to lose a bit of himself that night to beat McLennan, and he never got it back. That's what happens when you get in the ring with these kind of fighters. Do you understand what I'm saying? These kind of fighters who can take you to a place that you've never been before, who can put you in hospital. Fighters who can put you in hospital. Fighters who they might hit you and you might not get up, or you might get up, but you might be waking up in hospital, attached to a machine with about 6 pipes down your throat. Do you know what I'm trying to say? That's the kind of fighter that McLennan was. That's the kind of fighter that McLennan was. It wasn't like, oh, this guy's, he'll stop you, he'll knock you out. It was like, this could go really wrong. Really wrong. That's the kind of fighter he was, in my opinion. That's the kind of fighter he was. There are very, very few fighters in boxing who are like that. He was one of them, right? One sec. That's disgusting, but it is what it is. So, exactly, Mark. Yeah, Ben was pissing blood after it. Exactly, pissing blood. So, it is what it is, isn't it?
So he will never be his father. So I don't know why they're so steadfast on trying to bring back the glory days to me. To me, this whole Ben saga tells you everything you need to know about where British boxing is. Because if British boxing was healthy and in a healthy state, with a conveyor belt of good new stars that are going to come along and get people tuning in and get people entertained, I'm not sure that we'd have this Conor Ben situation right now. I think the fact that Matchroom are throwing all their eggs into a basket with someone like a Conor Ben, it says a lot about Matchroom and it says a lot about the state of British boxing. That's how I feel about it. It tells you everything you need to know about British boxing. Because he has done nothing in the boxing ring to warrant the amount of faith that Eddie Hearn puts in him. And that's what I'm trying to say. I know I've gone about it in a very, very long way, but that's what I'm trying to say, basically. He has done nothing in Conor Ben. He has done nothing in his career to justify the amount of hope that Matchroom put in him. So I hope that, well, I do think it's going to come to burn them. I think if they do put on this Ben and Eubank fight, while Conor Ben is under investigation for a doping violation, it won't be the end of Matchroom, of course, but I think it's something that they won't be able to... I think their reputation will be fucked for life. That's my opinion on it. If that happens. I think if Matchroom were to put on Chris Eubank, I think if Matchroom were to put Conor Ben in any fight, especially in a foreign country, while he's under investigation for a doping violation, I would say that Matchroom's reputation will take a hit, and that will stay with them forever and ever and ever. It will. Because people like me will keep harping on about it forever and ever. I'm telling you. That will stay with them forever if they do that, I reckon. That will stay with them forever. And, you know, my last words to Conor Ben, and anybody out there, any of you Conor Ben fans out there like Nico, who want to go and send this on to Conor, send it to Conor. Conor Ben is a classic example of somebody who is absolutely and utterly being gassed up beyond this peanut, mate. And it's so sad to see Conor Ben, you know, because he's a guy, he's probably a really nice guy, you know. Conor's probably a really, you know, deep down, he's probably a really good guy. But he's just been surrounded by, when you're surrounded by people who all they do is blow smoke up your ass 24/7, right? And tell you how you can't be wrong and tell you how great you are. That's all you hear. All you hear every day is how great you are, how brilliant you are, how good of a boxer you are. You just, all you hear is fucking smoke 24/7. Gets to your head, doesn't it? And Conor Ben is shown you, and he's shown all fighters in British boxing how not to handle a drug test failure. Like, he has absolutely shown people how not to handle a drug test failure. I'm sorry about that, but it's just unbelievable, man. Boxers are watching what's happening, and you've got to think they're watching him and they're thinking, God, I mean, I can handle it better. If you look at the way Amir Khan, as usual, Amir Khan handled it absolutely perfectly. If you look at the way Amir Khan handled it absolutely perfectly. Amir Khan, I know it was different because Khan had retired, yeah? But Khan, yeah, I failed a drugs test, so fucking what? I didn't do it. I'll take the 2-year ban. That's how you do it. So simple. Just take it out. Don't go and start talking about fucking eggs. Don't go and start talking about VAR to fuck with your results. Don't start talking about you were set up or framed or the British Boxing Board of Control have got it in for you and I'm going to fight this and all this stuff. And then you see Conor Ben in photos and you see who's surrounding Conor Ben, and he's surrounded by Charlie Sims. I mean,
I can't believe Nigel Benn lets Charlie Sims give his son advice. Genuinely, I cannot believe that Nigel Benn lets Charlie Sims give his son advice. I cannot fucking believe that. I really can't believe that Nigel Benn lets Charlie Sims sit down and say, hey, this is what we're going to do. I'll be fucking damned if I ever let my son get any advice from Charlie Sims. Are you fucking serious? For what? Have you not seen episodes of Towie? I'm sorry, but no disrespect. He's no Mark Wright, is he? Like Charlie Sims, like fucking, not even Mark Wright, like Charlie Sims. Come on, man. Jesus Christ, how are you letting your son sit at a table and take advice from fucking... Do you remember what happened when Ahara Davis took advice from Charlie Sims? You remember that? Jesus Christ. See, ask Ahara Davis about what happens when you take advice from Charlie Sims. See how it ends well. Can you do me a favor? I beg you don't try and get me in trouble by talking about which gyms are doing steroids and which gyms aren't, because I don't want to have to time anybody out. So just pipe it down, man. What the fuck do you guys think this is, man? This isn't fucking Crime Watch UK, man. Stop snitching in my chat, man. What do you guys think this is? Crime Watch UK? Do you think do I look like Anne Robinson to you? Is that what I look like? Do I look like Anne Robinson? Jesus fucking Christ, man. I'm in enough trouble as it is, man. Shit. I don't know, man. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but it's a shame, man. It's a shame, isn't it? It's a shame. I just think it's a shame. The way the whole thing's gone, it could have been avoided so easily. Conor Benn, that whole situation could have been wrapped up in weeks. Yeah, I failed a test. I fucked up. They put something in my drink. That was it. I'll come back. I'll take a million tests from now on, and I'll pass them all. We'd have all forgotten about it. He could have served his ban. We'd have all forgotten about it and job done. That's all he had to do. And, you know, the advice has been absolutely terrible. All right, final comments. Nigel just wants a Ben to beat Eubank. He needs to get over it. I think that is what it is, isn't it? I do think that is part of it. That a lot of it's Nigel, in it, and that he feels like he has to do this to try and make it up to Nigel, innit? What do you guys think about this Ben thing? A lot of that is what it is, isn't it? Ben thinks that he has to do something for his dad. But the reality is, your dad got knocked out in 6 rounds by a prime Chris Eubank, wasn't it? Can't undo that, mate. Simple as that. Biggest fight in Britain at the time, and Chris Eubank went out and stopped him. He won fair and square. Can't erase that, mate. Beating his son ain't going to change that. But I agree. It is something to do with that, isn't it? I do think Nigel wants, never got his win. And Nigel's never going to get his win on foot. Nigel won the rematch. We all know that. It was a joke. But Nigel's never going to get his official win. So he wants his son to do it for him, isn't it? Sad, isn't it? I don't know. I think the whole thing is fucking sad, man. But neither of these two are like their old man. And Eubank was a guy, Eubank Senior. He fought his fair share of tomato cans, but he could take his licks. Do you know what I mean? Eubank Senior was a guy who could absolutely take his licks. Like, he was a guy who, when the going got tough, he ain't the greatest fighter in the world, but Eubank Senior was a guy who he took his licks against Carl Thompson. He took his licks against Joe Calzaghe. He took his licks against Steve Collins. Chris Eubank could dish it out, but Chris Eubank was tough as hell. Chris Eubank, he was tough. And he could take his licks when he had to. In my opinion, neither of these two can ever match up to their fathers. So I think, I don't know what matching are doing, but I would advise them to forget about it, because it is what it is. Eubank Senior would never get wobbled by Liam Smith. It just wouldn't happen. It wouldn't happen, mate. It wouldn't happen. Think they will drain Eubank? No. That fight will happen under Eubank's terms. There'll be no draining. That fight will happen under the terms of Chris Eubank Jr. Absolutely. It is what it is. Even in Richard Barker. Yeah, so it's just, that's what we're seeing in a minute. British boxing is in the gutter, really. That's why we're sort of holding on to Conor Benn.
and Anthony Joshua and these guys, you know, were holding on to it. That's why Carl Froch and George Groves are still able to fucking sell out and Happy Eaters and fucking Wimpies doing a fucking tour about what happened when they fought 2005. You know, wonder how that happens. Carl Froch and fucking George Groves still wandering around Happy Eaters in the middle of nowhere, selling them out, talking about what happened in their fighting back in 2005, fucking 15 years ago, and people are still going on about Froch and Groves. Tells you all you need to know about the sport of boxing, you know, isn't it? Fucking people still going on about Prince Nazim Hamed. Like it's been 25 years, isn't it? Prince Nazim Hamed still front and center. What does that tell you, innit? We've got a real lack of stars, you know. We've got a real lack of stars. There's a big bubble. British boxing's a big bubble at the minute. We're in a big bubble, mate. All this AJ and Fury stuff. Listen, AJ and Fury are one-offs, mate. That's all I got to tell you that right now. Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury are complete one-offs, mate. Fighters like that, fighters who look like that, and fighters who behave like that don't come along very often. Tyson Fury is an absolute complete one-off, and we know that. And Anthony Joshua's a one-off. There ain't going to be no more fighters that come along for a long time who look like Anthony Joshua, who were knocking fighters out in the manner that they were like Anthony Joshua. Like, it just ain't going to happen. Like, British boxing was in a bubble. I've been saying it for a long time, and it's going to come true. British boxing has been in the bubble, mate. And that bubble is about to pop. Right, last comments. NYA says, I saw your live late, just on the radio, Raheem. Yeah, Raheem's a clown. It is what it is. Yeah. Right, guys, I've been rambling on for 2 hours. But look, fingers crossed, if I still have a YouTube channel by the time of Joe Joyce versus what's it called? Adeleye Zhang, then we hopefully can cover that fight, depending on if we still have a YouTube channel. So it's always good to, you know, this is a tune-up fight, and it's a tune-up, mate. You know, I'm only in second gear. You know, get the cobwebs off, innit? Get used to talking again. And hopefully really go at it next week. I've got Joe Joyce in that fight, so there's my prediction for that fight. I don't know why. I'm just going to go for it. It's a blind prediction. I did predict on Twitter Chris Eubank Jr. to beat Liam Smith in the rematch. So I got that one right. I actually got most of mine right this year. Actually, maybe I've got a couple wrong, but I've got most of mine right actually this year. I've done quite well this year on low key. So I actually go for Liam Smith to get beat by Chris Eubank. I went for Eubank on points, and he won by stoppage. I'm going to go with Joe Joyce. I'm going to go with Joe Joyce to get it done on points. I think he was making adjustments in the fight. It was just too late because his eye was shut. But I believe I saw the adjustments Joe Joyce was making. I think he does a much better job of avoiding the left hand early on, and I think he's going to show Zhang a lot more respect than he did. I think we're going to see Joe Joyce box and move a lot more in them early rounds, and then I think we're going to see Joyce put it on him in the late rounds. Joyce and Zhang is next Saturday, so hopefully next Saturday we'll have something. But we'll wait and see. Until then, it's Premier League football. Manchester United. Where are you Man United fans at? Quickly, does anybody here before I go remember I did an episode about Man United and Erik ten Hag? It's the only time I've ever talked about football. Do you remember I did an episode on Manchester United and Erik ten Hag? I'm here to tell you today that episode is going to age like a fucking 1930s French red wine. That is going to age very, very nicely. Do you remember that? Where you at, Brian Burke? I told you. Last year I told you about Man United and Erik ten Hag. And I was getting reamed on this channel. But I kept that video up because I said, you know what? I know, yeah, in a year or a year and a bit, that video on Man United and Erik ten Hag, that video is going to age absolutely tremendously. And we'll have to see. We'll have to see what happens. But it's looking... it ain't looking too good for Man United in a minute. £400 million spent. And look at the football that's being played. And I was saying on that episode, I said last year, look at the football you're playing. You can't build up from the back. You haven't got players who can keep it and pass it out the back. You're a very, very direct team. You're a team who's getting by on ball over the top to Marcus Rashford football. Marcus Rashford was in an incredible purple patch. But you're getting away with ball over the top to Marcus Rashford. You've got players like, they were banging all on about Casemiro. Casemiro is the best CDM. And I was saying Casemiro has no legs and Casemiro can't play out from the back. He's a disaster waiting to happen. He is an absolute 70 million on Casemiro will go down as one of the worst signings in the Premier League for a long time. You paid 70 million for a 31-year-old with no legs. And now what are they talking about now? Casemiro can't play the pivot by himself. He needs Amrabat beside him. What's happening to Casemiro? I believe he's the most dribble past central midfielder in the Premier League right now. Is Casemiro? Nobody's been dribbled past more times. Nobody in that position has been dribbled past more times in the Premier League this season than Casemiro. I watched Man United's games. I watched them struggle to beat Wolves. They should have lost on opening day against Wolves. Wolves turned up at Old Trafford and legitimately outplayed Man United and should have had 3 or 4 goals. I sat and watched that live on TV, having a laugh. Remember that episode I did about, I don't know much about football, but remember the episode about Ten Hag? I remember what I told you about Man United and Ten Hag. Remember I told you about how Ronaldo was a scapegoat. Remember I told you about that? Ronaldo was a scapegoat. I told you about that. And what's happened since? They got rid of Ronaldo. Who was the scapegoat after Ronaldo? Harry Maguire. So Harry Maguire is no longer in the first team. They tried to sell him to West Ham, but he didn't want to take a massive cut in salary. So Harry Maguire was the scapegoat. So they got rid of Harry Maguire. Yes, and now Harry Maguire's gone. David De Gea was the next scapegoat. Do you remember this? David De Gea. Do you remember when he was the scapegoat? One of the best shot stoppers in the history of football. What are they telling you? All these tacticos. What are they telling you? It's not about shot stopping in football. You need a keeper who can pass at the back, innit? You have to have a keeper who can pass at the back. Forget all this shot stopping stuff. You need a keeper who can pass at your back. And you have channels like the United Stand telling you that, oh, this Onana signing is going to turn Man United around. Signing Onana because he's such a great passer is going to turn Man United around. Man United are going to be able to play at the back now. Guess what? Man United have signed Onana, and guess what? They are still absolutely appalling at the back. They're still appalling. Listen, Onana's a far better passer than De Gea. You can see that. Onana is leagues ahead of David De Gea on the ball. But David De Gea is one of the greatest shot stoppers of all time. He's one of the greatest shot stoppers of all time. What do you look for when you look at a goalkeeper? Is the primary objective of a goalkeeper to stop shots? Or is the primary aim of a goalkeeper to help you build up from the back into the midfield third? It's interesting. I think De Gea was a scapegoat. We've seen the Nana come in. Man United have not played much better football at all. So what's it now? Casemiro, he can't play by himself because he's got no legs. So now you need Amrabat. So the new hero now is Amrabat. And we've got a new scapegoat, Jadon Sancho. He's the new Ten Hag scapegoat now, isn't he? Is Jadon Sancho. He's the brand new Eric Ten Hag scapegoat now. No more Ronaldo, no more De Gea, no more Maguire. The new Eric Ten Hag scapegoat is Jadon Sancho. He feels the need to go and tell the media that Sancho isn't in the team because he's not training correctly. Why do you need to go and tell the media that for? And he told the media that after a loss to Arsenal. Do you not find that funny? It's almost like he's trying to shift the blame onto the players. All I would say is this, Brian Burke, when you hear this, drop me a comment. How are you feeling, Man United fans, about Eric Ten Hag? He has spent £400 million in something like 16 months. Do you know that? 400 million in 16 months. 400 million in 16 months. Can somebody tell me where is this money that Eric Ten Hag spent gone? You spent 100 million on Anthony. Did I hear that correctly? That you guys spent 80 million plus add-ons for Anthony. Did I hear it right that you guys spent 60 to 70 million for a 31-year-old Casemiro? Did I hear it right that you spent 40 to 50 million on this Rasmus Højlund, who has 9 goals for Atalanta and weren't even fit to play? Missed the first couple of games, weren't even fit. How much did they pay for Rasmus Højlund? Can somebody tell me? How much did Rasmus Højlund cost? Was he 40, 50, 60 million euros for a guy who banged in 9 goals for Atalanta? When are you guys going to start asking questions about Eric Ten Hag and these signings? Just out of interest. When are you guys going to start asking questions about this money? He's had 400 million to spend. What's he spent it on? Where's the money going? Johnny Evans getting a 1-year contract. Johnny Evans is getting a 1-year contract at Man United. Who gave him that? Did Ten Hag give him that? Or did somebody else hold a gun to Ten Hag's head? Wout Weghorst is a number 10 last season. Whose idea was that? Wout Weghorst is a number 10.
Just playing him behind Rashford and fucking Anthony. Whose idea was that? Was that Eric Ten Hag's idea? Or did somebody hold a gun to his head and say, you need to sign Wout Weghorst? Because you had a guy the season before called Cristiano Ronaldo who banged in 18 goals for you in the Premier League. And then you went from him to having fucking Wout Weghorst as your number 10. It ain't looking good, Bob, bruv. We'll see what happens at Brighton. It ain't looking good. Do go and listen to that episode. I've been telling United about this stuff. 400 million, and they're blaming the Glazers. We'll see. But you've got 400 million. You can't say that Eric Ten Hag has not been backed. That's the point I'm trying to make. And I'll leave it at this. Can you guys imagine if Jose Mourinho was coaching Man United and in 16 months and 400 million pounds spent, they had not won a single game away from home against the top 9? Can you fucking believe what would happen if that was Jose Mourinho at Manchester United and he spent 400 million in 16 months and had no wins against any team away from home in the top 9 and was getting hammered 7-0 by Liverpool, 6-3 by City? I mean, are you fucking serious? Can you imagine what would happen if that was Jose Mourinho? What happened to the standards? What happened to standards? Is what's going on right now any better than what was going on when Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was in charge? Because you want a Carabao Cup, but you want a Carabao Cup because who did you play? Charlton's, Readings, and Nottingham Forest, isn't it? You didn't play nobody. I don't know. I'm interested to hear the thoughts of Man United fans. Drop me a comment. Let me know your thoughts. I'm out. 2 hours done. Take care of yourselves. And I apologize for the rambling, but it's good to talk. And take care of each other. Peace out.